Okay, let's talk about something we've all felt. You ever get so worried about messing something up that you end up, well, messing it up? It's super frustrating, right? And it feels like a paradox. But here's the thing, it's not just you, and it's definitely not some kind of curse. Today, we're going to dig into the psychology behind why this happens.
So, really, what is going on here? Why does fearing failure so often become this self-fulfilling prophecy? It can seriously feel like the universe is playing some kind of prank on us. But the answer isn't out there in the stars. It's actually right here inside our own heads. And it's a pattern we can totally understand, and more importantly, we can interrupt it.
And that is the really good news here. We're not talking about some weird mystical force that's out of your control. Nope, it's a predictable psychological loop happening inside your brain. It's a chain reaction, really. And the best part, once you see how the loop works, once you understand the mechanics, you get the power to actually break it.
All right, let's dive into what we're calling the failure paradox. First things first, we got to be clear on what we're actually talking about here. It all starts with a very specific kind of fear.
Yeah, this isn't just, feeling a little nervous. We're talking about an intense worry about not measuring up. It doesn't matter if it's your own expectations or someone else's. And this worry, it's not just a passing thought. It actively ticks off a whole chain reaction, cognitively, behaviorally, physically, that, ironically, ends up sabotaging your performance.
Okay, so let's get to the nitty-gritty. Your brain on fear. What is actually going on up there when this anxiety takes over? This is where the science gets really, really cool. It basically comes down to a battle for control happening right inside your own head. So think about your brain having two modes. On a good day, when you're focused, your prefrontal cortex is running the show. This is like the CEO of your brain. It's in charge of rational thought, clear decisions, staying focused on the goal. But when fear hits, that CEO gets totally flooded with the stress hormone cortisol. It essentially gets knocked offline. And just like that, your thinking flips. You're no longer thinking about achieving your goal, you're just desperately trying to avoid mistakes. Your problem-solving skills, they just tank.
And this chemical flood in your brain, it doesn't just stay there. It triggers your body's ancient, super primitive fight or flight response. You know the feeling. Your heart starts pounding, your muscles get all tense, you can't catch your breath. Now, this system is absolutely genius if you're, say, running from a saber-toothed tiger. But for giving a presentation, or acing a test, or solving a complex problem, it's terrible. It's priming you for survival, not for success.
So, okay. Our brain's command center is offline. Our body is in full-on panic mode. What happens next? Well, this internal chaos starts to drive our external actions. And this is how we sabotage ourselves, often in ways that pretty much guarantee the exact thing we're so afraid of.
And it often looks exactly like this. The avoidance cycle. It's a vicious little loop. Step 1. You face a challenge, maybe a new project at work. Step 2, that fear kicks in, that anxiety about failing. So what do? Step 3, you avoid it. You procrastinate, you tell yourself you'll do it tomorrow. Anything to avoid that uncomfortable feeling. And that leads to step 4, you miss the deadline or the opportunity just passes you by. Then comes the final, really killer step. Your brain goes, see, I told you, I was bound to fail anyway, and boom. The belief is reinforced, making the cycle even stronger the next time.
This whole cycle can feel a little abstract, so let's put a face to it. Let's talk about a case study. John, a software developer who is stuck right in the middle of this exact trap.
So John, he dreamed of launching his own app. He had the skills, he had a great idea, but he was absolutely terrified that it would just flop. That he'd put all this work in, release it, and crickets. No users, no downloads, just nothing.
So what did he do? He fell right into that avoidance cycle. He spent years overanalyzing every single detail, tweaking the code, redesigning things over and over again. He was using perfectionism as a way to hide from the fear of actually launching. And when he finally released it, the app was outdated. The market had completely moved on, and it failed to get any traction. It's the perfect and painful example. His fear of failing directly caused the failure he was trying so desperately to avoid.
Man, John's story is a tough one. But it does not have to be the end of the line. And this is the part I really want you to hear. This vicious cycle is not a life sentence. It's a learned pattern, and any pattern can be unlearned and broken.
And here's maybe the biggest takeaway. The world's most successful people? They are not fearless. Not at all. That's impossible. They just have a way better playbook for dealing with failure. They feel the fear, just like we do. The difference is, they've built a totally different relationship with it.
So what do you say we steal that playbook? Let's get into what we're calling the champion's playbook. We're going to look at what some of the greats do. People who faced insane pressure and didn't just get through it. They actually learned how to use it. And we have to start with this quote from Michael Jordan. "I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." Just let that sink in for a second. He's not saying he succeeded despite his failures. He's saying he succeeded because of them. So, what on earth does that actually mean? What he's talking about is something psychologists call a growth mindset. It's this core belief that your abilities aren't set in stone. They can be developed with hard work. So when you have that mindset, failure isn't some final judgment on who you are. It's just data. It's information. Every missed shot for him wasn't proof he was bad. It was just feedback on how to adjust his form for the next one.
Or think about J.K. Rowling. She got dozens of rejections for Harry Potter. Someone with a fixed mindset would have thought, well, I guess I'm just not a good writer. But she reframed it. She didn't see the rejections as a verdict on her talent. She saw them as part of the journey, just steps along the path.
Okay, now for a super practical strategy you can actually use. And this one comes from the comedian Jerry Seinfeld. It's called Don't Break the Chain. To deal with the immense pressure of be funny, he changed the goal. His goal wasn't write a hilarious joke today. His goal was simply write jokes today. And every day he did it, he put a big red X on a wall calendar. After a few days, you've got a chain of X's. And from that point on, your only job is to not break the chain. It's genius, right? It takes the pressure off the outcome and puts all the focus on the process, which is something you can actually control. So let's just quickly pull all those key takeaways from the Champions Playbook together. Number 1, adopt a growth mindset. Think like Michael Jordan. Failure is data. Number 2, reframe failure as feedback, not a final verdict, just like J.K. Rowling. Number 3, focus on the process, not the outcome. That's the whole don't break the chain idea from Jerry Seinfeld. And that leads right into the next one. Build confidence with small wins. Every X on that calendar is a win. And finally, to deal with that physical fight or flight stuff we talked about, use mindfulness. Even just a few deep breaths can help calm your nervous system and get your brain's CEO back in charge. So, in the end, this isn't just some interesting psychological theory. It's a practical guide. Resilience isn't something you're born with or without. It's a muscle. And you build it, you strengthen it, through practice. So the crucial point is, what's one small risk you'll take today to start building your own resilience?